Please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Bob Schoepp. Bob Schoepp, it's the doorway. It's the doorway. Bob Schoepp.
Mr. Toastmaster, I seem to be having a bit of a brain freeze. Would it be possible for you to repeat the title of my speech?
Certainly, Bob. Your speech is titled, It's the Doorway.
Mr. Toastmaster, honorable judges, fellow competitors, ladies and gentlemen. Of all the things that I have ever lost, I miss my mind the most. And I know what causes it. It's the doorway. You see, when I came today, I knew exactly what I was going to say. But what happened is when I walked in here, there are all these bright lights, all these people, conference tables, and the thoughts that I had before stayed on the other side of the door. Now, my buddies are having exactly the same problem. Derek there, for instance, went out with a friend of his, Roy, to have a cup of coffee. They went to a new coffee house, walked in through the doorway, new decor, new crowd, new barista. And after a few minutes, Derek looks at Roy and he says, "I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name. You're going to have to tell it to me." Roy got kind of a vague look in his face and he says, "How soon do you have to know?" Now, if a small doorway can do that, can you imagine what a big doorway would do? A number of years ago, Sharon and I were on a cruise and we stopped at the island of Curacao. At that time, I was having a tremendous amount of problem with my hips. I couldn't continue sustained walking for more than 15 minutes. So we decided I should use a wheelchair. And with her as the captain, it meant I could sit back, relax, and enjoy the day. We checked off the ship, and halfway down the gangplank, there was a sudden gust of wind. Behind me, I heard, "Oh, shh!" I knew exactly what happened. The wind had blown her hat off, and after coming through that huge doorway, she completely forgot and let go of the wheelchair. Now, I can totally understand that brain freeze. A new Tilly, $85, a new husband, no charge. As you might expect, that wheelchair with me in it took off down that gangplank like a bullet. And have you ever noticed when you're in mortal danger how the body reacts? And your mind, it can process a plethora of information and observances just within a split second, like, that's concrete. And it is really, really rough. And have you also noticed in times of danger how your mind sort of separates itself from the body and it moves over there? And then it talks to you from there. "Bob, you know your legs are never going to react in time. You need to decide whether you want the right side of your face rearranged or the left side." "Well, if you prefer, you can take it like a hero. Straight on." You've got 1/10 of a second left. You can make up your mind when you get there. When I get there, then another part of your mind chimes in. Wonder how long it's going to take that skin to grow back. Yeah, probably ruin that new shirt too. And then finally, a realistic thought. If you grab the push rings on the wheelchair, it'll stop. So I did, but it didn't. You see, in order for the wheelchair to stop, the wheels have to be touching the ground. And it seems that the exact instant that I grabbed the push rings was also the exact instant that I hit the bottom of the gangplank. The wheelchair tipped ahead until the foot pads hit the concrete, and then I went skidding along on the concrete with the foot pads in the front wheels. When I finally slowed down, the wheelchair tipped up and stopped. I looked back and I saw the fear drain from Sharon's face. We now knew that we were okay, except for the hat. When I leaned over the wharf and looked down, there, bobbing gently in the waves by the wharf, was the hat. I signaled to one of the crew. He came out with a long extension pole. It was long. He fished out the hat, he handed it to Sharon, and then we were off to see Willemstad. But that afternoon, we dined on an outdoor patio. There was absolutely no way we were taking a chance on another doorway.